Greetings, my name is Sarah Griffith, and I am a Star Diamond health and fitness coach with Beachbody. I wanted to reach out and say thank you so much for your interest in my upcoming Autoimmune challenge that I'll be hosting starting on November 27th. This challenge is really close to my heart. The reason being is it's something that I've struggled with for a very long time, and I just want to take a step back and share with you a little bit of my story, and then I'll talk to you about what the challenge is going to be all about. That way you can determine, is this for you or not? So I'll first share with you that my journey began 3.5 years ago as I began to battle infertility. My husband and I could not get pregnant. We couldn't figure out what in the world was wrong with me. And so the doctors started to do the tests and put some pieces together. And I'll never forget when I went in for my first appointment at the OB. After having my initial blood work done, you know how they make you wait? It's terrible. They make you wait at least a year if you're struggling with infertility before they'll do anything. And so she had me into her office and she's like, "Oh, this is easy. We can fix this problem right away. You have a thyroid condition." And I was like, "I do?" And she's like, "Yeah, and it's really bad. Like your TSH level, so a normal TSH level, normal they say is, I'm not even gonna go there. I'll talk about it in the group, but they compare normal to like 0 and 4. But that's not even a good number either. I'm not going there tonight because it's not the place for this. But anyways, that assessment, that data isn't even necessarily correct. But back off my tangent. So anyways, my number was 13.28. I was off the charts. They said, okay, you have hypothyroidism. Have you been tired? Have you been cold? Have you been struggling with anxiety, fatigue, all these things? And I was like, yeah, I have. And she was like, okay, well, we can fix this really easily. We'll give you some medication. You'll be pregnant in no time. And I was like, wow, that was such an easy fix. Like, why did we wait a year to find that out? Well, she sent me on to the PCP. I met with him. He basically wrote me a prescription for levothyroxine at the time and was like, you'll be fine. I started that medication. I took it for a good year. My thyroid came down to what they would consider optimal levels, but I still wasn't getting pregnant. I was also finding that the medication was giving me anxiety, like anxiety that every time at work the phone rang, I panicked like a major catastrophe was about to happen. I was not wanting to go places. I would wake up in the morning and I felt paralyzed by the fact that I had to go to work. It got to be really scary. So we went and I decided it was time to see an endocrinologist, and she got me on the path to my wellness and where I am today. And so she put me on Synthroid at the time, and it's completely got rid of my anxiety feelings, which is wonderful. She then helped to figure out what else was wrong. We explored options like PCOS, we explored hypoglycemia, we explored a ton of different issues. One of the things that was suggested was that I go gluten-free. I went gluten-free in February. This is now 2 years ago. In February, I went gluten-free at the beginning of the month. By the end of February, for the first time in basically 3 years, I was pregnant. It was crazy. And I had never even had any positive pregnancy tests. It was every month it was negative, negative, negative. So it wasn't even like, oh, I got pregnant and I lost it. It was just, you never got pregnant, and that was hard. So anyways, I was pregnant. I carried that pregnancy for, I had the D&C at the end of April. So it was really hard. It put me in a bad place. I was very bitter. And when that happened, I decided to spend the summer eating gluten. Pizza, you name it, burgers, wine. I drank a lot, not an alcoholic, but every day at 4 o'clock, I was having a glass of wine with my neighbor. And midway through the summer, I was like, this isn't really, I don't feel good. Like, I shouldn't be drinking like this. I shouldn't be eating the gluten. I don't feel good. And you know what? You've just been dealt. This is the hand you're dealt. You guys are having one child. Get over it. Move on. And I really I was in a bitter place, and then I just decided, okay, enough is enough. I was carrying around weight from the pregnancy. I didn't feel good, and I was just miserable. And so I decided to go gluten-free, and not with the intention to get pregnant, just with the intention to feel better and help my thyroid symptoms to change. And I should add in there, I didn't say this, but when I started working with the endocrinologist, that's whenever we did the thyroid ultrasounds and we did the further testing, and we learned that it wasn't hypothyroidism that I had necessarily. I had an autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's. So that's when we knew that I wasn't just dealing with, a thyroid that's out of whack. It was, you've got an autoimmune condition, and that means you've got inflammation, and that means that you need to work on healing your gut and whatnot. So anyways, back to where I'm at. So in that August, I got pregnant and everything was perfect. The pregnancy was perfect. The baby was perfect. It was a blessing. And my daughter's here and she's fine. And I stayed gluten-free mostly that entire pregnancy because I knew that my body needed to be gluten-free to just maintain the state that it was in. So anyways, fast forward now to this past summer. We had a lot of changes in my life, a lot of situational changes that produced a lot of stress. We had the baby, we moved, our home is in storage, we're living with family right now, our new house isn't ready yet. And all of a sudden, all of those changes, crash. They hit me, and they hit me really hard. And it created a sense of anxiety, and it created a sense of depression. And all of a sudden I started to worry and I started to question, is it that or is it my thyroid? I went to a primary care doctor in my new area. She walked in and she's like, what would you like to take? And I was like, I'm not here to ask for a prescription. I'm here for help. I need you to help me distinguish which is it. And she really just, a lot of things. She wrote me a prescription for Ativan, also for an antidepressant. She was like, watch out, that Ativan's highly addictive. Oh, and by the way, the antidepressants, they can cause suicidal ideation, so be careful with it. She talked to me about dosing and told me to feel free to dose up until I felt better. And I left there feeling absolutely floored, angry, and I was determined. And it was just what I needed. I really believe that it happened for a reason, because it pissed me off enough to say, I'm in charge. My health matters, and that woman is not going to be the one who decides that I start taking these medications to feel better. I'm going to feel better through food, through exercise, and through mindfulness. And so I got on my little soapbox, and I started to preach that I was going to do this. And I think it was the challenge that I needed. In your life, there are times when you need exercise for, maybe you want to look better, maybe you want to lose weight, maybe you want to run for stress relief. Like, there's all kinds of reasons why we do certain exercises. And I will tell you that the season that I'm in right now, my body needed something to de-stress. My body needed yoga. It didn't need HIIT training. It didn't need kickboxing. I needed mindfulness. I needed quiet. I needed peace. I needed to be gentle. And so I have been working so hard to, number one, stay gluten-free. I've actually been following more of a paleo meal plan. I have been doing yoga for 30 minutes a day. I have been practicing something. I'm in the process of practicing something called intermittent fasting. So it's a new way to eat for me, a new window of time that I eat. And I've just been incorporating journaling. I've been reading more. I've been going to bed earlier, which was another problem. And I've just been working super hard to research and figure out what is it, but also to just feel better. And I am happy to report that a month into this, the signs of depression are gone. The anxiety is not creeping in nearly as much as it was. I'm not as tired. I don't have the brain fog. I'm not forgetting things like I was. And I look really good as far as from a weight loss standpoint. I'm 5 months postpartum and I've lost all the baby weight. In fact, I've lost even a little bit more, a couple of pounds more. So I just want you to realize that yes, yoga isn't going to burn as many calories as HIIT training will, but clean eating paired with good sleep and mindfulness is going to make you feel like a million freaking bucks. So let me give you some details. The challenge group that I'm offering is for those with an autoimmune disorder or those struggling with a thyroid condition. Maybe you're just hypothyroid, but I want you, and I want you in my group because I've done a lot of homework and I know that the things I can share with you will make you feel better. But I'm gonna ask you to step up to the plate. I'm gonna ask you to do hard things. I'm gonna ask you to change your ways for 30 days to see how you feel. We will kick off this group on the 27th of November. We will wrap it up right around the Christmas holiday. I promise you, if you can commit to this and you can go all in, you are going to be absolutely amazed. It is the best gift you can give to yourself during the month of December. I know some of you are scared. You're thinking, I don't want to do this during the holidays. What better time to do it than to go into the new year when everybody's about to be making resolutions and saying they're going to join the gym and do this. You're going to already be there. You're going to be on the way and you're going to be feeling great. So when you join this challenge, I'm going to ask you to do a couple things. Number one, I'm going to ask you to commit to 3 weeks of yoga. We're going to be doing something called the yoga retreat together. I'm going to ask you to commit to a gluten-free lifestyle. Some of you may choose to go one step farther and commit to paleo. I'm going to ask you to commit to drinking Shakeology every day. I'm going to ask you to commit to intermittent fasting. And I'm going to ask you to commit to skipping out on alcohol for the duration of the challenge. We're going to do a lot of hard things together, but I can promise you that if you show up, you're going to be so glad that you did. This group will be an intimate group. So far, I've already had 15 people apply. Once they commit, they get added into the challenge group. You have to go all in for this. There's no, yeah, I kind of want to do it, or I'm just going to do my own thing. No, you're going to join me. You're going to do what I'm doing and everybody in the group is doing, and you're going to give it your best go. Okay? Because I'm going to spend a lot of time with you. I'm going to do a lot of mentoring for you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just a woman who got sick of not feeling so hot, who got sick of the bullshit answers that doctors were giving me, and I decided to do my own homework. So if you want the change, you want to join us, you want to be a part of the group, you want to go all in, then let me know. I'll get you your spot, and we will get you enrolled so that you're ready to rock and roll with me on November 27th. Thanks so much for listening. I'm excited to be a part of your journey. See you guys.